You think awareness is enlightenment, that understanding yourself, understanding others, understanding how the world works, that it makes life better. But here's what actually happens. The more aware you become, the more miserable you get. Not because you're pessimistic, because you see things you can't unsee, patterns you can't ignore, truths you can't change. And that awareness doesn't empower you. It traps you in a state of knowing without being able to do anything about what you know. Ignorance isn't weakness, it's protection. It's a shield that keeps you from seeing all the ways life is broken, people are performing, and meaning is constructed. When you're unaware, you can participate, you can believe. You can enjoy things without deconstructing them, but awareness strips that away. You start noticing the mechanisms, the performances, the patterns. And once you see them, you can't go back. You're stuck knowing. And knowing makes everything worse. This isn't about being smart or enlightened. It's about the psychological cost of seeing too clearly. The weight of awareness without power, the loneliness of understanding things no one else seems to notice, and the irreversible loss of innocence that makes it impossible to enjoy life the way you used to. The ignorance shield that protects people from truths they can't handle. The action gap where awareness without power creates helpless suffering. And the innocence loss that kills the comforting illusions you can never get back. Subscribe to that stoic stick, because we don't celebrate awareness. We show you what it costs. Let's talk about why awareness makes you miserable. 1. The ignorance shield. Ignorance protects you. Not from reality. Reality is still happening, whether you notice it or not. But from the psychological weight of seeing reality clearly. When you're unaware, you can take things at face value. People say they care, and you believe them. Social rituals feel meaningful. Life seems to have inherent purpose. But awareness strips all that away. You start seeing the performance behind the sincerity, the self-interest behind the kindness, the constructed meaning behind the purpose. And once you see it, you can't unsee it. The shield is gone, and now you're carrying weight that ignorance used to protect you from. Here's what awareness does. It reveals patterns, and patterns are everywhere. You start noticing that people don't actually listen. They wait for their turn to talk. That most relationships are transactional, that social interactions follow scripts everyone pretends are spontaneous, that the meaning people claim to find in their lives is just a story they're telling to avoid confronting meaninglessness. And the more patterns you see, the less you can participate authentically, because you're not experiencing the interaction anymore. You're watching it, analyzing it, seeing through it. This is why ignorant people seem happier. They're not stupid. They're protected. They can engage with life without the meta layer of awareness that ruins everything. Someone compliments them, and they feel good. Someone with awareness hears the same compliment and immediately wonders, what do they want? Are they being genuine or performative? Is this social lubrication or actual appreciation? The compliment doesn't land the same way because awareness has turned it into a puzzle to decode instead of a gift to receive. Awareness also ruins comfort. Ignorant people can believe in things, religion, purpose, justice, progress, without questioning the foundation. Those beliefs provide structure, meaning, and psychological safety. But awareness dismantles belief. You start asking, who decided this matters? What's the mechanism underneath? Is this true or just something everyone agreed to pretend is true? And once you've deconstructed it, you can't believe in it anymore. The comfort is gone, and you're left standing in the wreckage of meaning you used to inhabit effortlessly. Picture this. You're at a family gathering. Everyone's playing their roles. Your aunt is performing concern. Your uncle is performing success. Your parents are performing pride. And you see it all? You see the scripts, the insecurities being masked, the performances being maintained, and you can't just participate. You're watching a play where everyone else thinks they're living real life. The ignorance shield they have lets them believe the performance is real, but you don't have that shield anymore. So you sit there, aware, isolated, unable to pretend you don't see what you see. And the worst part, you can't explain it to them, because explaining it would strip their shield too. And you're already miserable from awareness. Why would you inflict that on someone else? So you stay quiet. You keep seeing, and the shield you lost is never coming back. 2. The action gap. Awareness without power is torture. It's one thing to see a problem. It's another to see it and know you can't fix it. And that's what awareness gives you. A clear view of everything that's wrong with no ability to change most of it. You see systemic injustice. You see people trapped in patterns. You see yourself making mistakes in real time, and you can't stop any of it. You're just aware, watching, helpless. And that helplessness is worse than ignorance, because at least ignorance lets you live without the weight of knowing. Here's the gap. Awareness reveals problems, but it doesn't give you solutions. You become aware that most people are deeply unhappy, but pretending otherwise. Aware that society is built on systems that exploit and harm. Aware that your own behaviors are driven by unconscious patterns you didn't choose. And what can you do with that awareness? Almost nothing. You can't fix society. You can't fix other people. You can barely fix yourself. So you're stuck knowing things are broken and watching them stay broken. And that knowledge creates suffering that ignorance never had to carry. This is why awareness often leads to cynicism or despair. You see the problems. You see that they're not getting better. You see that most people don't even recognize them as problems. And you realize your awareness changes nothing. The world keeps spinning. People keep performing. Systems keep exploiting, and you're just sitting there, aware, unable to intervene in any meaningful way. The gap between what you see and what you can do creates a specific kind of misery. Not the misery of suffering, the misery of witnessing suffering and being powerless to stop it. Awareness also traps you in self-observation. You become aware of your own patterns, your defensiveness, your insecurities, your contradictions, and you'd think that awareness would let you change. But it doesn't. You still react defensively even though you're aware you're doing it. You still repeat the same mistakes even though you see them coming. You watch yourself behave in ways you don't respect, and you can't stop, because awareness of a pattern doesn't give you control over it. It just makes you watch yourself fail in high definition. Think about this. You're in an argument. You're aware in real time that you're being defensive, that you're not listening, that you're escalating instead of de-escalating. You see it happening, and you keep doing it anyway. The awareness doesn't stop the behavior. It just makes you feel worse about it. You're failing and watching yourself fail simultaneously. And that's worse than just failing without knowing. Because now you can't even claim ignorance. You knew better, and you did it anyway. The action gap is the space between seeing and fixing. And for most of what awareness reveals, that gap is unbridgeable. You're just stuck knowing, watching, unable to change what you see. And that's not enlightenment. That's helplessness with a front row seat. 3. The innocence loss. Awareness kills innocence. And innocence isn't naivety. It's the ability to experience things without deconstructing them, to enjoy something without understanding its mechanisms, to participate in life without constantly analyzing it. But once you become aware, once you start seeing how things work, why people do what they do, how meaning is constructed, that innocence is gone forever, and you can't get it back. You're permanently on the outside, watching, unable to lose yourself in experience the way you used to. Here's the loss. You used to enjoy things simply. A movie, a conversation, a relationship. You experienced them directly, without the meta layer of awareness that now ruins everything. But awareness teaches you to see mechanisms. You watch a movie and you're not immersed, you're noticing narrative structure, character archetypes, manipulation techniques. You're in a conversation and you're not present. You're analyzing subtext, power dynamics, what's not being said. You're in a relationship and you're not just feeling, you're observing patterns, questioning motives, aware of the performance elements. Awareness turned you into a spectator of your own life. And spectators don't get to experience innocence. This is why children seem happier. Not because their lives are easier, because they're not yet aware. They can be fully present in a moment without deconstructing it. They can believe in things without questioning the foundation. They can enjoy something without understanding why it's designed to be enjoyable. That's innocence, and awareness kills it. Once you see the mechanism, you can't unsee it. The magic is gone, and what's left is just the awareness of how the trick works. Awareness also creates loneliness. Not social loneliness, you can be surrounded by people, but existential loneliness. The loneliness of being awake while everyone else seems asleep. You see things they don't see. You question things they accept. You're operating on a different level of awareness, and that level separates you. You can't connect the way you used to because you're not inhabiting the same reality anymore. They're experiencing life directly. You're experiencing your awareness of life, and there's no bridge between those two states. Picture this. You're with friends. They're laughing, engaged, present. And you're there too, but you're also watching the group dynamics, watching who's performing what role, watching yourself perform the role of being present. You're aware that you're not actually present. You're aware that the laughter is partially social obligation. You're aware that the connection everyone's feeling is temporary and conditional, and that awareness isolates you. You're in the room, but not in the experience, and you can't turn the awareness off. You can't go back to the innocence that lets other people just be. The innocence loss is irreversible. Once you've seen through the illusions, social, existential, personal, you can't believe in them again. You can pretend. You can go through the motions, but you know they're illusions. And that knowledge is a one-way door. You can't unknow what you know. You can't unsee what you've seen. You're stuck on the other side of awareness, unable to return to the innocent participation that made life bearable. And the worst part, you did this to yourself. You sought awareness. You wanted to understand. You thought seeing clearly would improve your life. And now you're here, aware, isolated, unable to enjoy anything the way you used to, carrying knowledge you can't unlearn and can't share because explaining it to others would just strip their innocence too. So that's why awareness makes you miserable. The ignorance shield that protected you from seeing performances, patterns, and constructed meanings you can't unsee once noticed. The action gap where awareness reveals problems you're powerless to fix and forces you to watch yourself fail, even when you see it coming. And the innocence loss that kills your ability to experience life directly, turning you into a permanent spectator who can never participate the way you used to. Awareness doesn't enlighten you. It burdens you. You see too much. You understand too much. And that understanding doesn't give you power. It gives you weight. The weight of knowing things are broken and watching them stay broken. The weight of seeing through illusions everyone else still believes in. The weight of being awake in a world that's asleep and realizing there's no way back. The people around you who seem content, they're not less intelligent, they're less aware, and that lack of awareness protects them. It lets them believe, participate, enjoy. They don't see the mechanisms. They don't notice the performances. They don't carry the knowledge that ruins innocence. And because of that, they're happier, not because their lives are better, because they're not burdened by seeing how it all works. You can't undo awareness. You can't choose ignorance once you've seen through it. You're stuck with what you know, and what you know makes everything harder, lonelier, heavier. Maybe that's the cost of seeing clearly. Maybe awareness was never meant to make you happy. Maybe it just shows you the truth. And the truth, as it turns out, is miserable. If this resonated, drop a comment and tell me what awareness ruined for you. And subscribe to that stoic stick, because we don't sell you the fantasy that understanding will set you free. Does awareness make you enlightened? Or does it just make you alone? Maybe ignorance wasn't bliss because it was comfortable. Maybe it was bliss because it was the only state where happiness was still possible. And you can't go back.